Okay, so this guy might be a bit more difficult now that we have a lot of distance between us. And yeah, it looks like he's just reflecting my projectiles from being way over there, so I'm gonna have to clear a path over to him somehow. I think I can do that by doing the old Metroid Prime maneuver. Yep. Go ahead and using our missiles to bring those giant ice spears down and taking him out that way, yeah. Although, yeah, he's just gonna keep on running, isn't he? Or I can just shoot him in mid-air, he falls into the water, and that's it. Huh. I was actually expecting to have a knockdown drag-out fight with that guy on the other side. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, so apparently those guys do not like water at all. What he'll usually do is that he'll come over here and you'll have to fight him over here, but, well, there's a second one anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter, does it? Looks like he is bringing down the icicle spears himself right here, but we have a clear path over here. And crap, that is not what I wanted to do. Oh, I think it's going to be a slug to actually get back up here. No, we don't have to go over to the other shore. We can actually just do it right here. Okay. Let's see, can I make that jump, or is there another icicle that I'm missing? I'm pretty sure I can make this jump, actually. Oh, looking around, it looks like there's nothing else to really knock down, so let me try this again. Okay, I guess maybe I'm just angling this wrong right here. Okay, let's try that one more time. Guess it wouldn't be a really big deal if I could just get out of the water, but I suppose not. Let's try it at this angle. There we go, I was just jumping from a bad angle. Ah, well. Okay, let's see if I can take this guy down as easily as I did his partner over there. You can knock him down just like that and then go in for, yeah, the badass finisher right there. But sometimes he's a bit too quick on that one. If you're not close enough to him, you won't be able to make it. So, okay, so there is a missile tank that we can get right here, although it's kind of difficult to get without the gravity suit, but I believe if I get a good jump right here, there we go. We can just latch onto it right there and get the expansion right here. Now, this is kind of tricky because I'll show you right quick. If you actually fall into the water, you can't jump up here and get to the passage. You have to actually make the jump when you're on top of one of these icicle spears above the water. So watch out for that. It can take a couple of tries right there, but I found it is a lot easier to do it when you're actually standing on one of the spheres instead of trying to jump off the platform past this one and trying to angle it that way. Much easier this way indeed. So alright, we finally made our destination here to the next nav room. Well, I'm glad we've never come across two of those guys at the same time, as they can be kind of a hassle to deal with sometimes, but... Oh, are we, like, backtracking now? Going to the same place? I suppose so, although we're gonna have to approach it a different angle right here, so yeah. Okay, so, I did finish up the last episode right there talking about how I think Other M was intended for a more mass audience, and how Nintendo, and probably, definitely by extension Sakamoto, Team Ninja, and all the developers of the game, hope to kind of break Metroid out into more of the mainstream. By going that route and having a less niche type of gameplay, I think. But, oh wow, I forgot this cutscene here. Hold on a sec.
The creature's corpse showed signs of what looked like Metroid predation, making my mind race. Metroids? Here? Impossible. Metroids can't tolerate cold temperatures. They couldn't survive in this environment. Besides, they're extinct. The baby was the last of its kind.
Well, I mean, that definitely looks like a Metroid came and sucked the life out of it. It's very reminiscent of, all the other types of organisms that we've seen the Metroids kind of suck the life out of before. Can I get up here, actually? I don't think we can get up here quite yet. Yes, we can. Although I think we're just going to be met with... Is that a super missile door? Let's see... No, just a normal missile right here. I don't think we can do anything up here right now. Yeah, that door is actually locked. I can try to get this right here, but I think we need something different, yeah. We're going to need some way to hit all these guys at the same time. I wonder what upgrade that falls behind, but okay, I guess we can come here later. So, I would like to continue that conversation about kind of the mass appeal that Other M attempted to have right there. And yes, I do think that is true for a global audience, but it is definitely true for a Japanese audience as well. So we'll go ahead and get this missile tank right in here after blowing this up. There's something weird that I've noticed about a lot of Japanese media, and I've had people that are far more into Japanese media confirm this to me, and this goes beyond video games, that developers or creators / artists in Japan really like their work to be popular in Japan, which I guess is pretty natural, right? If you're making something artistic or creative, it would be really nice if your home country was kind of behind you and they really liked it and things like that. Metroid's problem is, and I think this is by virtue of it being based on an American film series, has never really had mass appeal in Japan at all. It has always been more of a stateside type of franchise right here. So I think another reason behind a lot of the curious decisions in Other M, especially kind of the story and the character of Samus, which I promise we are getting to later, guys. I'm just waiting for the right moment because there's a lot to talk about. Because we're going to have another one of these rampaging guys right here. Let's go ahead and take out the Zoomer, Dreamer, whatever you call it over here. Yeah, there was definitely an attempt to have Metroid as a series become more popular in Japan, and I am convinced that is a main reasoning behind perhaps not just the gameplay style of this game, as it is well known that the first-person... and again, like, the Prime series is not a first-person shooter game at all, but I guess that more first-person perspective is definitely far more popular in the West, or at least it was more popular in the West just a decade ago. Can you stop hopping around, please? God, this is annoying. I don't think that's going to do anything, though. Yeah, we can actually knock its head off right there, okay. Or at least its shell. So I think that the gameplay style of this game, having it in a more action-oriented, not first-person view, is I'm just getting wrecked by this thing due to the very close quarters and getting sniped by the icicles from behind here, too. Gosh, this is kind of difficult. Can I please take this thing down? So I think by turning it to this gameplay style, number one, that was an attempt to make it more popular in Japan as well, so we'll go in for the badass kill. God, that was annoying. Jeez, being sniped with these icicles back here. But also, I think a lot of the story choices as well, with it being far more, I guess, kind of anime-esque. Well, maybe not the story so much, but definitely in the design. I think the reason behind the much more sleek kind of power suit design was, in fact, because it's kind of a more anime-inspired aesthetic right there. I think the design of Samus herself is kind of reminiscent of that as well. It is a far more kind of anime design than what we saw in the Prime games, because, of course, the Prime games were created by an American studio, being retro down there in the heart of Texas. And so I think all of that really was... How many hits can you take? Jesus Christ. Come on, just go down. Am I not even hitting it? There is a frozen nest in there, and I would like to get to it if possible. Let's see, is it behind there? Am I just not hitting it? There we go. Now we got it. Do that. Yeah, so I think Sakamoto just really quite badly wanted this series to be popular in Japan, so he kind of really didn't think about Western sensibilities, and we will get to that more with kind of the portrayal of Samus and her character and things like that, how it's not really compatible with how we in the West have kind of grown to see things in media, but it's something that I don't think that people in the East, namely Japan, really had a problem with all too much, and that's just kind of the portrayal of Samus. I don't really want to get into it for right now, because I have a lot to say about the portrayal of Samus and the character of Samus and things like that, but I do think it does tie into the argument that I had towards the end of the last episode too, kind of that attempt to break free of the traditional audience of a Metroid game and make it much more appealing to a greater audience right here. Problem with that being that when you alienate the Western audience with decisions like this and sensibilities and character decisions that don't really resonate in the West or kind of affect the West far more than they would people in the East, you alienate your core demographic right here. As far as I can tell, I don't think the Japanese really had that big of a problem with Other M. I have read some forum posts, well, not really forum posts, they were more interpretations of forum posts that some people kind of translated and put out there, and apparently Other M is kind of disliked in Japan. It's not really hated in Japan, but the criticism that I did read from Japan, it was kind of interesting to compare and contrast them with the criticisms that came from the West, because in the West, the main criticism is the story and the portrayal of Samus and the authorization system and things like that. In Japan, it's kind of different. They were more concerned about kind of like the voice acting and how she talked a lot and things like that. It wasn't so much how her character was and things like that, which I felt really interesting. And I guess that does kind of tie into the voice acting as well, since I went ahead and brought that up. So let's just go ahead and keep in mind for a second that I believe this to be true. I do believe that this game, almost perhaps first and foremost and perhaps primarily, was designed to appeal to a Japanese market and to get the Japanese more on board with Metroid, as they have just really never liked Metroid at all. And along with that comes the voice acting, and I've not really talked about the voice acting up to this point because I wanted you guys to kind of get a feel for the voice acting and kind of really know what it was all about right here, as I don't think there will be anything under that ice bridge right there. I will say, for the most part, let's not talk about the Samus voice acting for right now. Let's talk about all the additional voice acting. Let's go ahead and talk about the other primary character in this game, Adam. I don't really have a problem with Adam's voice acting at all. In fact, I think he really fits kind of the strict, stern CEO that's kind of mysterious kind of role. I think he fits that really well, and I can't really say I have a problem with his voice acting at all. By extension, I would say the other kind of main character is definitely going to be Anthony right there. I already talked about how I do like Anthony as a character and kind of what he stands for, and I think his voice is perfectly serviceable too. Like, I don't really have a problem with that either. And keep in mind, guys, and I have said this in the past, I do consider myself to be immune to bad voice acting unless it is like Mega Man X4 levels of voice acting, okay? Like, I know when it's just like horrendous beyond repair, but some people listen to what I believe to be perfectly servable English voice acting and they're like, oh, it's just the worst thing ever. And I think that's kind of like an anime fan thing. I don't understand it. I'm not an anime fan. Honestly, you know, if I'm gonna be, you know, kind of harsh, I think, I don't know, do people just like Japanese voices because they scream louder and stuff like that? And maybe that's just me being ignorant. Again, I don't really care. I don't watch anime. Point being that I am kind of immune to like what some, I guess, hardcore Japanese entertainment enthusiasts would say to be bad voice acting, but just keep that in mind as we go on to Samus's voice acting. And I think Samus's voice acting, when she's talking to other people, is also pretty fine. Like, if you listen to her to when she's having a conversation with Adam, or Anthony, or any of the other Marines, and oh yeah, by the way, I don't really have a problem with any of the other Marines' voice acting as well, but it's so they talk so sparingly, really, that I don't know. This is kind of not really worth an in-depth critique, I don't think exactly. But when she is talking to other characters, I think her voice actress, Jessica Martin, does a great job. I think she does absolutely fine. Like, it sounds like how I would believe Samus to really sound right there. But when she's monologuing, for some reason, she sounds completely different. She sounds very distant, very bored, like she's just not interested in what's going on or invested in what's going on. And that's not a Jessica Martin problem, okay? I'm pretty sure, like, she did not make that decision. In fact, I'm pretty sure that we have people on the record saying that the monologuing voice was completely Sakamoto. And let's look at the problems of that right quick, because it looks like we have completely filled up this area right here. Fantastic, more piranhas. I hate this enemy, and I hate this water. God, make it stop. But let's talk about the issue, first and foremost, that Sakamoto is the one taking care of the English voice acting. Now, as far as I know, Sakamoto does not speak English fluently, alright? I think he may be able to say some spare English words, kind of sparingly, you know, kind of like the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto can also do. But he does not speak the language fluently, which I think is a problem if you're gonna take complete control of the English voice acting. I think you should really get someone who knows the language in and out, and who knows kind of the standard for English voice acting in there to take care of it. So I don't think Sakamoto is really qualified to direct the English voice acting to begin with. But, I mean, he had complete creative control over this game, obviously, due to so many of the decisions being behind him, being as a result of him, so, I mean, it just is what it is. But apparently he directed Jessica Martin to sound like that whenever she was monologuing, as it looks like this tank is empty right now, and yep, of course there's two right now. I kind of foreshadowed it, but here we go. This can be a bit of a difficult battle right here. If I can take one of them out with like a badass finishing move right quick, that would be really preferable. Let's see if I can get close and do it. Oh, too late. Yeah, sometimes she'll go in for the kill right there, but again, you'll be too far away, so you can't actually do the finisher right there. But I managed to get that one, so this one will be much more manageable right now. If I can get it before the defenses start going up, I think we'll be set. Nope, looks like the defenses are indeed up. Get close, Samus. I guess you really have to stay in these things' faces because they do not stay in that finisher state for long. One missile should do that. We can get back in here. Come on, take him out, take him out. And there we go. Okay, that'll do it. Whew. Okay, yeah, that can be... That takes some focus right there. You gotta be really careful about that one. But yeah, Sakamoto directed Jessica Martin to sound like that whenever she was monologuing. And what was the purpose behind that? Because in English, we take that type of voice inflection as being, well, exactly what I said it was. That she's bored, that she doesn't care, that she's distant, she's got her head in the clouds. So, with a bit more research, and I don't really call it research, I just call it more of like, kind of looked into it myself, apparently having that type of voice tone is a sign of strength in the Japanese language, and you can kind of see what the problem is here, but more on that in a second as we have reached yet another sheet of ice. Huh. Kinda weird to have that in a 3D game, but we can't do it, so...
The most efficient way through here should be delivering shoulder impacts with your speed booster, so I'm authorizing its use.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have, for the first time ever, the speed booster in a 3D game. Wow, this is one of those upgrades that I would have just never guessed that you could actually use in a 3D space, or they would figure out how to use it in a 3D space. It kind of goes up there with how Metroid Prime 2 Echoes dealt with the screw attack, and how they kind of had to heavily limit it in order for it to even really work in a 3D space. And they kind of did the same thing here with the speed booster in Other Rim, which is kind of impressive, really. But we'll get a little bit to that in a sec. First, we're going to get the E-Recovery Tank, another item exclusive to Other Rim. This increases your concentration restoration volume. So now, instead of just recovering one energy tank whenever we go into the concentration kind of panic mode right there, we'll actually get 2 back, which is pretty cool right here. Okay, so we can go the other way right quick, but there is something that I want to do, actually. Let's go ahead and try to get the speed booster going. I haven't really practiced shine sparking all that much in this game. Let's go ahead and see if I can do it. So the Shine Spark and the Speed Booster kind of, well, I guess it's more the Shine Spark by extension, have been a bit dumbed down in this game. Let's go ahead and do it this way. There we go. First try right there. So, yeah, the Speed Booster and... Ooh, don't knock me off the edge right there. The Speed Booster and the Shine Spark have been, I guess, what you could call nerfed in this game, really. But... again, I think that's that's kind of a consequence of even being able to use the Speed Booster in a 3D space. Because the Speed Booster in Super Metroid, in its first appearance, was so heavily, and I'm gonna need more running space, Jesus, was so heavily dependent on that 2D design right there, and so was the Shine Sparking as well, that it's kind of a miracle that it got adapted into a 3D space right here, I gotta say. So I don't really mind that it was kind of nerfed. You can't really do the same exact things that you could do with it in a 2D game, obviously. Crap, I wanted to zoom this way in a very cool fashion, but I messed it up. But yeah, it's kind of neat that it's just here in a 3D space to begin with, and I don't know, I really appreciate it here. And I appreciate that Shine Sparking is kind of back in some capacity as well, because Shine Sparking, I don't think you ever had to do an actual Shine Spark in Super Metroid in order to beat it. I know you had to do like a jump coming off of a Speed Booster, but I don't think that's really what you could call a Shine Spark, and it looks like this thing is a bit more pissed off than it was the first time we were here. I think it's still guarded. Oh god, it's got its eye out now. You disgusting. Oh no! No, let me go, let me go! I forgot this thing could actually grab you. Oh, it does a lot of damage too. We gotta get out of here, man. Crap. No. This is a disaster. Okay, but at least it'll give me a bit more time to explain kind of where I'm coming from with the Shine Spark and the Speed Booster and things like that. But yeah, the Shine Sparking... Can you please stop, you piranhas? I am so done with the water, guys. I'm so freaking done. Like, you can't maneuver around in the water, like, these things move so fast. Why do they still take more than one freaking hit to take down? Why is that thing able to throw me into the water? Ugh, I get it's supposed to be frustrating. Just kind of like the water areas that you went through in Super were also supposed to be kind of frustrating as well at first, but geez. But yeah, it's just what I'm trying to get at, is that it's just really neat that the Shine Spark is back here in an official capacity in Other M. Because when it was first introduced, it was more kind of those niche things that you didn't really have to use, kind of like the wall jump in Super Metroid as well. So I really appreciate the Shine Spark's inclusion in this game, I gotta say. So whenever we have a long road right here, you can kind of tell that, oh, it's Shine Spark time. It doesn't really have the utility that it did back in Super because, well, you can't even really use it in areas that it's not intended to be used, kind of how you can manipulate it. You could manipulate it in Super and things like that, as we're going to grab this energy tank that was kind of torturing me earlier. But hey, it's here. It's part of Samus's arsenal coming off of Super, and I'm glad that it's here. It's a worthy conclusion and things like that. So, before I even got to the Speed Booster, I was talking about the voice acting. I kind of alluded to the fact that in Japan, that type of really slow, methodical, almost boring sounding speech is a sign of strength in Japan. So it would have made Samus seem like a really calm, stoic, in-control character. But it's something that doesn't translate to English. It's something that we see as completely kind of counterintuitive to what we would like to see in a character, kind of be involved, kind of be more emotional, more compassionate somehow. And that's something that just did not translate over, which is, again, another reason why Sakamoto really should not have been in control of the English voice acting to begin with. And I actually think there's something in this room, now that I'm thinking about it. Can I freeze one of these? I don't know. These ice vents kind of look similar to what we had before, so I'm not going to worry about it for right now. I actually don't think there is anything right here. So, yeah, point being, I don't know, man. I just really, really wish that they had gotten someone else to handle the English voice acting. But I should say, and I do want to make a point of saying this, because I feel like people give Jessica Martin so much crap, and I don't understand it. Like, if you see interviews with her, and like she seems to be like the sweetest person on planet Earth, and she was really excited to have the role. And I do think it's kind of a shame that Sakamoto gave her material and gave her direction that just didn't really work for English. And it's really frustrating because I feel like she could be a really good voice actress for Samus. And yeah, when you're going against a legend like Jennifer Hale, because Jennifer Hale voiced her in all the Prime games, and I'm pretty sure that they're still using Hale's Brawl voice clips to this day in Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate as well for Zero Suit, and so, and you know, Jennifer Hale is an infinitely more popular actress too. I understand it, I get it, but Jessica Martin did a fine job with what she was giving with, guys. And again, when she's talking to other people, I think she does a stand-up job. So I just want to say, like, thank you to Jessica Martin. I think you did a great job for what you had to work with, and I think she really seems to like the character and like the games too. I remember seeing this super cute video that she did on YouTube, actually, and it was like singing Happy Birthday to Metroid during the series' 30th anniversary, I think. Which is kind of significant to me, because Metroid didn't get jack squat for its 30th anniversary, and Jessica Martin actually cared, so that's enough for me. Hashtag justice for Jessica Martin.